everybody, it's Jackie, and whoa, what a month December's been. You might have been wondering why there hasn't been a December Daily update from me since, I don't know, July when I made this book, and it's just because I barely got anything done in my December Daily in the month of December. It was just such a busy month. But I have a few pages done now. I've been working on it this weekend, and I just wanted to come on and show you what I have done and tell you that if you're far behind in your December Daily, keep plugging at it. I'm doing mine, and I'm making progress, and I love it, and you can do the same. So don't worry about being behind, just working it. So this is my junk journal. You guys have seen it before, and I'm on day 12, and it's getting a little chunky, and that sounds about right. So we'll open up the laces, and in we go. So I'm keeping this one sketchy and messy the way I think that a junk journal should be. I started off with my reason why, which is a prompt that's Ali Edwards invented the December Daily, and she suggests putting this prompt at the beginning of your book. And it's something I do not every year, but some years I do, and this year was one of them. So I just hand lettered my title and with like a brush pen, and then I just journal out, and then I underline the journaling after it's done. A couple of bits of ephemera. Almost everything I've used in this book was gifted to me. All these bits of ephemera and stickers I received through swaps in the December Daily Inspiration group, Anything Goes, that's on Facebook. We did swaps all summer, and I've been so delighted to use up all this like wonderful gifts in my book. It's just made out of so much goodness. So I usually start day one with my advent calendar. I love to do the David's Tea advent calendar every year. So this year I set it up. I put my little light box in front of it saying the countdown begins and my matching mug. So I took a picture of that setup that I'd posted on Instagram. And then I like to track all the teas as I drink them so that I know which ones to buy in the Boxing Day sale or throughout the year when they go on sale. So I just drew a bunch of little rectangles and I stamped in numbers 1 through 24. And then every day when I opened up one of these little boxes, I'd write in the name of the tea. I had this rated out of 5-star stamp that I got in a citrus twist kit. I know they're pretty small, so let me just zoom a little so you can see. And then I just fill in the stars every day using Flair pens. Yellow for the number of stars and red to do the names of the teas. And I haven't drank them all yet because I fell behind in that too. But I'm slowly filling that out. This is stamped using some Stampo brand by Aladdin stamps. I have some vintage music paper, and I've just been like tearing up a piece here and there and putting them in here. I can't remember if I showed you guys my numbers. My sister and I sat down one day and we die cut. She's got like one of those cutting machines, and we cut all these numbers, and I did them out of 4 different, sorry about my dirty hands, I've been crafting all morning. We did them out of 4 different papers. We did a gold foil, we did a gold glitter, like that. We did a red glitter, it's like caught up there, and somewhere in here, there's also, here we go. We did red velvet, and I got the velvet, like a sheet of velvet from Michael's. And so I just grabbed some numbers from there every day, and that's where my numbers are coming from. And then just a little bit of stamping up here. A journaling spot here. This was already a decorated pattern paper. Then this page was a pattern paper, so I just wrote in around where the pattern was and talked about how I did my annual trip to the bulk barn. I called day 2 late start because normally I start prepping for Christmas in like September, and this year I waited till December 2nd, which is record late for me. So this was a book page, and I just put a glassine bag on it that I cut down into a pocket, and I sealed off the edges using washi tape. And I love the crinkle sound that it makes. I stenciled in the back before I stuck the bag down so that there'd be a little pattern to show through. And these are just some thickers that look like Scrabble tiles. I always associate Scrabble with Christmas because my grandmother and I used to play it on Christmas Day when I was a kid. So I'm using these as one of the alphas in this book, and that's just a little piece of ephemera. This was a journaling card I received in a swap, and I just did some writing on the back and stuck down some stickers. And that's pretty much all I do with a journaling card. This fabric tab was already part of the book. If you want to see I did a video, I'll link to it below of the book, how it was when I started, how I first made the junk journal, and all the details of how I put it together. The next one's called Monday Nights Are for Piano Lessons and Singing, of course, which is how I spend every Monday. My piano teacher comes over and he spends an hour and a half teaching me how to play the piano, and then we spend an hour and a half while he plays the piano and I sing. It's a wonderful arrangement. It's one of the best things I've got going on in my life, so I thought that deserved a two-page spread. So I took a picture of my piano and the music that we're working on right now. He doesn't let me use big sheets of music because he's teaching me to play by ear. I just have these little chord charts, and that's what I'm trying to capture there. This page already had a doily on it, and then for my title, I just used an Ecoline brush marker to write out Monday nights, and I used alphas, and this is just a Fudenosuke pen to do R4 and of singing. And then I colored everything in. I bought this pen. It is the Jane Davenport Golden Age pen, and it's like a gold brush marker, and I was so excited when I bought it, and I hate it. It's like the worst color of gold. It's translucent, and it's just not nice. So I'm trying to use it up in this book, and so I just ran it all over between the words here, and that's what this is. It's got a slight bit of shimmer to it, but not much. Certainly not enough to warrant the name Golden Age. It's like a brownish, sad color. But I do kind of like craft paper in this book a little bit, and I'm finding it's a little reminiscent of that, so I've been including it, but don't waste your money on that pen. That's my advice. On this side, it was just pattern paper, so I stuck down this die cut of a reindeer. I used a thick pen to do my journaling on this. You'll notice I vary pen weights as I go, and I just find that keeps it interesting. And I said in my previous video, I received a bunch of artist training coins that were Christmas themed in a swap over the summer, so I put the first one in here. Some washi tape down the side. The next page is cookies. If you've been following my December Daily videos, you know I do this page every year. My friend comes over, we've done it 9 years in a row, and I always track it here, how many years in a row and how many we made. This year we made 151. And that's me and my friend that make them. And then I just did a picture of all the cookies, another artist trading circles, and just a little bit of journaling. So I just typed up my journaling here. And then this one's a pocket. It's actually an envelope. So I just made a tag to go in it, and I stuck a journaling card on the front of it. And for my journaling, I typed it, and I cut apart the lines to type, and I just glued them all down. It's a finicky process, but I do find it's one of my favorite ways to work on pattern paper. I hate writing on pattern paper. I'd rather do that finicky process. Yeah, so that's that page. On this side of the envelope, I just had this pretty picture of birds, so I just stuck it down and didn't do anything with it, and I like it. On the 5th, Wednesday nights are for choir, I do that every Wednesday, and I'm just capturing my day-to-day life in here. So for this page, it was just a plain sheet of watercolor paper. I stuck down some of this red tissue paper that's got like a red foil to it. And then I used my Jane Davenport mermaid markers. I forget what the green one's called, but I just used that to color all this, and it gave me a really rich, deep color of green. I'm really happy with that. And these were just some thickers I had in my stash. And then I just hand lettered on some white paper and cut it out and put that down for my title. One of the guys at choir does these laser cut wood pieces, these coins. He gives you 2, and he says, give one to a friend and keep one for yourself. And so the one that I kept for myself, I put in here, and I just love it. It's just a little handmade laser cut thing that he did. Day 6, I just called it Christmas Cheer, and it's a picture of a little miniature poinsettia plant that I bought, and I just made a comment about how I don't have a Christmas tree, and but I do have this. So I decorated it with like a little Charlie Brown Christmas tree, because that's kind of what this is to me. It's like a lesser version of a Christmas tree. This was a pattern paper I made using the same technique that I did on this inside cover, where I embossed a sheet of craft paper, painted it, and then rubbed a gold ink pad on it. So I just had a scrap of that, so I used it up here. And for this typing, I've had this wrapping paper. I bought one roll of wrapping paper this year, and it was this craft with trees. And I've just been using it in my December daily. So I just typed on it with my typewriter and cut up the strips and stuck those down. And then there's just a little piece of string to fill in a blank spot at the bottom. This next page was like a half sheet of black paper. And but what I did on this one, I did both sides the same. So I put a ribbon down the side, and I said, we got snow in Toronto today, using alphas and a white gel pen. And I put a star and a little Tim Holtz sticker. And then on the other side, so did Newfoundland, which is where my ex-husband is. And he sent me a picture of the snow they got, and it was a lot more impressive than what we got. So I thought it was funny to put these two pictures together. Did the same ribbon, same star, same Tim Holtz sticker, just to keep the pages kind of the same. I had lost my voice, so on day 7 I finally got my high voice back so I could sing. So I was pretty excited about that. So I just had this little half sheet page, and I put one of my artist trading circles, some music paper again because I'm talking about singing, and I just wrote out my journaling on a sheet of paper and again cut it out and put it in strips. I do that a lot. Inside this page, it's a little square, so I just did some journaling about work. And again, I just write it out and then I underline it. I put a picture of some decorations we had at work and a little mouse sticker I thought was cute. Use watercolors to do a little border around it. And I think that turned out nice. On the other side, I switched to day 8. So this whole section is day 8. This page, this flap, and then this page behind it. And here's my sister decorating my biscotti for me because she's so helpful. And then I made some cookies that day, so I took pictures. I did 96 Lebkuchen, and so there's a picture of all of them. And I just put some gold tissue paper behind it. And then on the other side, 112 biscotti, and the same again, tissue paper behind it. And I said, this is my favorite pre-Christmas day. My sister do it every year. We get together, we do baking, we watch Love Actually, and we go to Grazie's for dinner. So I put a picture of our dinner, and I hand-lettered my title. I used that mermaid pen again here to outline it. I sometimes stamp words in the middle of my journal to make them stick out. I just use these dollar stamps that I get at Michael's. And some red ink, and I stamped that, and that's that page. And I just had a little scrap of paper here from another page. Yeah, like when I cut this background out, I had a scrap left, so I just put it behind this picture. Day 9, I took a walk through my neighborhood and I took some pictures of a tree lot. There's like a Boy Scout Christmas tree lot and some decorations in people's yards and in shop windows. And that's why, like, when people say my life is too boring to journal, I don't journal about exciting stuff. It's just my life and I share it. And I think everyone's got an interesting life to journal. Like, this is just pictures around the neighborhood. I used some blue paint that I thought complemented it to outline this picture and to back this whole page because this was an envelope and it had all kinds of stuff on it. So I had this Believe sticker. It's the Simple Stories, and I just put a piece of that red velvet, the same velvet that I made my numbers out of. I had a scrap left over, so I just put like a little strip behind it and some journaling. And I just do sketchy outlines of my pages sometimes to show that they go together. So 2 pages for day 9. Day 10, I had a migraine and a piano lesson, so I didn't put much on that page. It's just this little half page. Again, music paper because it was my piano lesson and that's my piano teacher and he's playing the piano. Because we actually took a video. This is a still from the video that we made of him to post on Facebook so people could hear him play. And just a little journal spot. I painted the whole thing green using acrylic paint because again, this envelope had a lot going on too. And I used a green ink pad to edge my journaling spot. So that's just a really simple day 10. Day 11 also I didn't have much going on, so I did a currently page. I posted this one on the Facebook group, so you may have seen it already. And all I did for this one, I stamped out currently using some recollection stamp, used a Food No Suke pen to just do like a little header, used this piece of ephemera, and then I just again stamped my reading, working, playing, watching, and loving on that wrapping paper and just did a little bit of journaling about each one and kept that page really simple. I do like to let some of the white shine through because I do see white as a Christmas color. And then I think one more page I have done, and I just called this one So Much Goodness, and I just talked about 3 good things that happened that day. I put a picture of my view from the bus stop in the morning. Again, my life is not so exciting, but I can still journal about it. I outlined my numbers on this page because they weren't showing up very well. I just put a little stamp there, and this is a journaling card, more of those Scrabble tiles. And that's it. I am so behind. It's the 29th and I'm done up to page 12 and I don't care. I'm just going to keep on going. I got all kinds of photos. Printed out my photos for the next one. I'm going to talk about the candy bars I make. I've got me chocolatiering. I've got the posts that I made for Facebook about how I make them. I've got a picture of the finished candy bars. And they're going to take up these next 2 pages and I'm just going to keep on plugging away. So keep working on yours. It's such a wonderful project. I love how my book's turning out. I bet yours is turning out amazing. Happy December Daily. Thanks for watching.